Well, my history at Kramer, it goes back when I was an assistant United States attorney from 1968 to 1974. I then was a partner in a litigation boutique where I was one of the 4 partners for the next 7+ years. And then I got recruited to come to Kramer to help set up a white-collar criminal defense practice and set up give us a greater presence in the litigation area. So I've been at Kramer, Levin, Naftalis, and Frankel since June of 1981. So just seems like yesterday.
I joined Orrick just 5 years ago to help build an appellate practice, and that's what we've been doing. I've been doing Supreme Court cases and high-stakes appellate cases all around the country.
Before I graduated law school, I went to work as a law clerk for a firm that turned out to do securities class actions on behalf of plaintiffs. I didn't know it at the time because I didn't even know what that practice area was, but they were one of only maybe 5 or 7 firms in the United States that practiced in that, what was then arcane area. After law school, I stayed on with that firm. 2 years later, I joined what is now Labaton Sucharov. At the time I joined it in 1977, they were a firm of about 15 lawyers, specializing in corporate matters and having some minor litigation, some minor exposure to class action litigation. I've been there my entire career, and we've been able to expand so that we solely do plaintiff securities class actions now. And I would guess I became managing partner sometime around 1990. And have been chairman since about 2000.
I was one of the co-founders of my firm. I'm the last remaining founding partner of the firm. There were 4 of us. We founded the firm in 1983, so the firm is 30 years old. But prior to that time, the 4 of us were the securities litigation section of our old firm, so pretty much I've had one job since 1971. And so as a founder of my firm, I get to set the policy and direction of the firm. And you know, the thing that I love most about my firm really are the people. I have 13 other partners. Their average age is 40. The oldest is 46. And I'm 66, so basically they keep me young. I get a chance to give them guidance about what the proper core values are in being a lawyer, integrity, professionalism, you know, handling all cases as being equally important on behalf of the clients, and feeling good about what we do. And I think that the energy and spirit at my firm is quite extraordinary.
There are 2 things I like about being a litigator. I love jury trials. I love cross-examining witnesses. I love doing closing arguments. The second thing that I really love is I love partnering up with my clients in litigations. I love the strategy part of it. I particularly like the beginning part of the case where it's really a chess game where you kind of lay out all of the different moves and you figure out strategically what's in the best interest of your client.
In terms of some of the recent cases I've had, which might be of interest, I represented Michael Eisner in the case brought involving Michael Ovitz's compensation, where Walt Disney Company, its directors and officers were sued, and we tried the case in Delaware and over a 3-month period and were able to prevail, and that Michael and the board had done absolutely the right thing. That was pretty exciting. I represented Ken Langone in the Grasso case, the compensation case brought by Elliot Spitzer, where he accused Grasso and Ken Langone, who was chairman of the compensation committee, of violating the not-for-profit law in terms of excess compensation. And we were able to prevail and have that case thrown out by the courts. A couple others I've done recently. I represented the city of New York in the case involving the fire down at the Deutsche Bank building down at Ground Zero, where a couple of firefighters were killed, in which there was investigations as to whether the city should be criminally prosecuted, and we were successful in convincing the district attorney's office that neither the city of New York nor the fire department or any of its any of the officials of the city of New York should be prosecuted or accused of any wrongdoing.
My most high-profile wins lately have been, first, the very high-profile fight against the Winklevoss twins on behalf of Facebook, Bratz's defeat of a judgment that practically put it out of business, UBS's defeat of an $800 billion case that was about a failed merger, and I guess most recently the big Supreme Court victory on a $60 billion question of the future of imported goods that previously had split the court 4-4, and somehow we managed to win it 6-3.
Some recent case highlights for my firm include some very significant settlements, including a case against AIG, which in the aggregate settled for over $1 billion with a B. Recently, Shearing Plow, which settled for $473 million. We've also had some cases that went to the Supreme Court over the last couple of years. We had one tremendous success in the Amgen case, where the court ruled in favor of plaintiffs, not further raising the bar for class plaintiffs to have to prove class certification.
We just recently had the settlement approval hearing in the case on behalf of investors in Bank of America in connection with with its acquisition of Merrill Lynch. In that particular case, we alleged that that Bank of America did not disclose to its shareholders the extensive losses at Merrill Lynch, as well as the extraordinarily large bonuses that, despite those losses, both Merrill Lynch and Bank of America had agreed to pay to executives and other employees of Merrill Lynch. When that information was disclosed to the public in January 2009, Bank of America stock imploded. The market value of Bank of America stock declined by tens of billions of dollars, and after 3.5 years, we settled that case for approximately $2.5 billion, plus corporate governance reforms. It was a particularly important case because it involved the rights of shareholders to know all material information about a company before casting their vote on whether to approve a merger or not.
Right. I recently just had a 4-week jury trial. The issues were coverage for asbestos liabilities. The Berkshire Hathaway companies have started to buy up a lot of insurance companies, and their business model is basically to hold on to their money as much as possible. So the industry, the insurance industry, has been taking very aggressive positions so they can defeat coverage. And so they've been really testing new theories as to how they don't have to pay for any coverage for asbestos liabilities, even though policyholders have been paying premiums since the 50s to protect themselves against these liabilities. So these theories were tested in a 4-week trial in Delaware. And the jury came back in less than 5 hours and found for the policyholder in all of the major issues. The jury didn't buy that the insurance company wasn't liable and they didn't buy that the policyholder didn't pay significant premiums to get this type of coverage. So that's an interesting thing. The other one is we represent one large university where we were seeking coverage for the university because they were investigating whether their coaches had sexually abused various players. And the issue from a coverage perspective is whether those investigative costs are covered under the policies that the university bought. And we were successful in getting the New York court to find that, in fact, those costs are covered. So that's another issue. The third issue that's a pretty hot issue now is a lot of companies like Google and Apple are being sued for privacy issues or privacy claims. And the issue really there is whether there's coverage for these class actions where individuals are arguing that, in fact, their privacy rights have been violated.
Look, when I do get free time, one of the things I like to do are sports. I mean, I like to go, every year I go skiing with my kids. We go out west. That's an annual tradition. And my kids are tolerant enough to ski with their father, even though they're a lot better skiers than I am. But that's one of the things I love to do. I love to play golf with my kids. Since my knees have gone, I don't play tennis the way I used to or play basketball the way I used to, but I like to play golf with my kids, which is also a fun thing I do in the summers. Go bike riding, and things like that. And I'm also a big sports fan. You know, I root for the Knicks and the Mets, which has its degree of fun and its degree of suffering. I mean, suffering being, as a Mets fan, a major component of the exercise. Knicks have been a little better lately, so I'm getting more joy out of that. You know, I like to read, like to travel when I can. I mean, those are the things, kind of the fun things I like to do when I have some time.
I'm actually an amateur photographer. I have a photography show that's opening coincidentally on April 15 at 25 Central Park West Gallery. I have 41 pieces in the show. It's my second solo show. The first one was quite successful. It was a number of years ago, and all of the proceeds are donated to charity City Year New York and In Motion, two very highly regarded not-for-profits in New York. And the last show raised a lot of money for both of them, and hopefully the same will be true here. And so I'm really looking forward to the opening of my show, but I love photography.